And they always say, why are you doing this? You're doing it. You're voting for a party that is doing it. And then they say, yeah, but why are we doing it? You know, and so this area's elite are getting more and more and more and more left-wing, esoteric, eccentric.
That was Victor Davis Hanson, a renowned doctor, professor at universities teaching military history and history. He is a commentator. He used to be a former Democrat, and now he turned into a conservative. He's been all over the news. His videos are out, and this is from the California Insider. I'm keeping it within the realms of the copyright thing, where I did about 23 seconds of this interview. And I found something very amazing of what he said. He said that there is an elite left-wing esoteric eccentric group of people in the halls of power. I'm going to show you who this eccentric world is and what they are up to. It's very important because it explains what we're seeing in the world today. The silence of a majority of citizens who want their countries back, how you're being silenced and told to shut up. You know, we have to have an inclusive world. We have to have all these weird woke ideologies, all this stuff crammed down your throat, and you can't do anything about it. And so the UK and the France was flipped over to, even though the majority voted against this, the minority won, the leftists won. And so they're all celebrating that, and in 2 years you'll get things back in line. Wow, I hope so. I pray so. I pray that they, you know, in your form of government, maybe you can turn it around sooner with another, when these people fall out of favor within the next few months, you can get things back on track. I pray that, because you're against what did Victor Hanson Davis say? An elite left-wing esoteric eccentric world, a political world out there who wants to create a new world of group love, group relationships, like I explained last week. It doesn't mean what it says. It means group control. It is all about power and control. That's what it's about. So with that, we're going to dive into this and look at this, and I'm going to bring this up here. Trying out my new system. How you like that? So I have over here, I'm going to quote Alice Bailey, and Disciples in the New Age on the PDF is the page 99. And she says, this may be provided by those disciples who are on each of the 7 rays indicated, are those disciples who can, through their purity of consecration, carry any type of energy to which the hierarchy may choose and project into an organism through their agency. The new group of world servers is rapidly developing organism which must be preserved from undue crystallization and over organization. What is she talking about? I'm going to just bring this up a little bit clearer for you to read here. So in the discipleship of the New Age, he talks about here, this may be provided by those disciples who are on the 7 rays indicated, by those disciples who through their purity and consecration carry any type of energy of the hierarchy, that's the fallen watcher, so forth, the demonic spirits, may choose to project into an organism through their agency. A new group of world servers is rapidly developing organism which must be preserved from undue crystallization. What is she talking about? She's talking about the 7 rays. In order to understand all esoteric thought, understand occultism, to understand white magic, black magic, so forth, etc., you have to literally understand the 7 rays of initiation, the 7 root races, the 7 rays, the 7 this and the that are all the same thing. And so what she's talking about and what you're seeing, what Victor Hanson Davis is hinting at strongly, elite, left-wing, esoteric, eccentric elite who want to implement something on earth, a new world, a liberal world order, or a some type of new system to think, new ways to think, new ways to housebreak humanity. And you need to understand what is going on. And so you have to understand the 7 rays of initiation, or the energies of how to initiate all humanity to accept their plan. As I stated last time, their plan involves the entire control of the world through an elite oligarchy who has a one world leader who will rule it all, basically bringing back the Antichrist. And they're not going to say this out loud. They'll say it in many other ways, but they are working behind the scenes, a small group of them, to bring this out. They're called an elite left-wing oligarchy of esoteric eccentrists. Their way is the only way. Their way are the highways, their ideology. So let's take a deeper look into some of this stuff that they are talking about. And so I want to read Discipleship in the New Age, Alice Bailey, the PDF on page 3. It says, we are taught the esoteric philosophy that 7 great divine emanations, aeons, or spirits in whom we live and move and have our being come forth from God. She means Lucifer. And at the time of creation, upon one or another of these 7 rays of initiation is what they are, the souls of all forms of life are to be found, as well as the forms themselves. In other words, everything is supposed to come into this crazy, what do you call it, mass reality of these 7 rays here. So we're just going to go ahead and look at this again. The 7 rays produce 7 major psychological types, she says. These 7 rays or emanations are as follow. The rays of aspect, of which are 3. There are 3 rays of aspect. They're the solar. If you know anything about this, this is the 2-pillared system here, or the pillared system of esotericism here, that talks about you have male and female. You have a masculine of mercy and compassion, truth, and so forth, etc. You have the other aspect, the divine feminine, of chaos, severity, judgment, justice, and glamour, so forth, etc. And you bring these into conflict with each other in order to create a synthesis to birth this new order of the age. So let's continue. That's what you're talking about. So the first 3 are called the rays of aspect. Well, the first ray is the will to achieve power at all costs. And as she says, many great world leaders are found in this ray of initiation. So they're looking for a group of people who are eccentrics, who will exercise the will to power with, to achieve it at all costs. The second ray of initiation is to initiate people, a certain group of people, into the love of wisdom to carry out the plan. This is found and called the great teaching ray. So you have people who are going to be teachers, expositors in high cultural mountains of influence to initiate all humanity to love the one to come, so to speak. The third ray is called active intelligence. It's to initiate the active intelligence of the entire population. This involves overshadowing and coming off and getting the active intelligence of humanity to accept this new way to live, this new perfect utopian world they have envisioned for us, of personality control, abject total control of every aspect of what you think, eat, drink. This is seen in the Bible in Revelation chapter 13, and with this mark, you have to worship and serve the beast in his system, or you can't buy, sell, or eat. It's total, absolute control. It is about a directed and controlled personality. So the 7 rays are about controlling that personality and that aspect of someone's life. Let's get back to this. again, and then you have the ray of attribute, which is a divine feminine, a chaos, the fourth ray of harmony through conflict. She writes, struggling, well-meaning people, workers for unity emerged at this time. They are going to implement chaos in the streets. They'll burn down cities, they'll protest, they'll threaten you, and they get away with it. Have you seen any of that lately? And you can't explain why. Why is this happening? This is, what do you call it? Esoteric left-wing elitism, or eccentricism, as Mr. Hanson would say. Okay? And then you have the fifth ray of concrete knowledge and science. Scientists are people who are purely mental and governed by the mind. The sixth ray is to teach people devotion or idealism. It says, many Christian people, fanatics, and numbers of earnest churchmen of all world religions. Now, that might not sound too appealing, but she's talking about converting Christians to become fanatics like the left. In other words, make them left-leaning. That's what she's talking about. And bringing all into a one-world religious system. The seventh ray, ceremonial order and magic. Financiers, great business people, organizers of all kinds, executives are found with these energies. And I'll explain all this a little better as we go along. And so as we, I'm going to bring this back up here. Discipleship in the New Age. And continues, it must, however, be these energies must be expressed themselves in the 7 ways of divine manifestation. You and your associates have, if you choose, because you have offered you the opportunity, much to do with the right organization of the outer expression of the new group of world servers. So the question comes, what does she mean by world servers? What does she mean by seed groups? Because world servers are seed groups, and that's what she's talking about. These are seed groups of a new order, a new age. As Victor Davis would say, these are the elite, left-wing, eccentric esoterists at work. Why would he say that? He knows something. He sees something, pretty much what I'm seeing and other people are seeing, but we're too afraid to bring it up. It might offend somebody or something like that. Who knows? So let's go back and look at this again. It says here in B, Alice Bailey, Externalization of the Hierarchy, page 36 and 47 of the PDF, and it talks about the group of world servers, who they are. They're called seed groups. Their job is to make seed groups. So the world servers would be the eccentric, esoteric elite who are going to go into all spheres of influence, of cultural influence, and implant seed groups into them. So the objective work of these seed groups is to familiarize people with the hierarchical plan as it's working out today in this time of crisis. Seed groups are in the process of being esoterically anchored, and that is what Alice Bailey is saying. That is what Victor Davis Hanson is saying about this elite left-wing esoteric eccentricism that has emerged to create this new divine world order here. And this is true. You'll see it right now. It's happening in society. And here's my notes. It's in red there. It says, the question, what is a seed group? And the answer, seed groups are groups of people, enlightened people, to become world servers. Most folks involved do not have a clue what the real intent of those at the top is. Those are esoterically in charge here. Nobody knows. A lot of these people are doing it out of the goodness of their heart. It sounds great to create this new world of group love, group conformity, and everybody think alike. We can control the world. We can control the weather. We'll save the planet. We'll save the whales. We'll save the polar bears. This all sounds wonderful. And yet, really? Really? It's more than that. So let's look here. Alice Bailey and Externalization of the Hierarchy on page 17 and page 20 of the PDF on public domain says, we call them seed groups of the new age. They conceal and nurture the germ seed of a new civilization of the Aquarian age. I'm not going to get into the Aquarian age, and there is the age just before the dawning of a new world system comes on. That's what they're talking about. goes on, the method of communication between members of the hierarchy, the fallen watchers, fallen demonic spirits, has to be externalized eventually upon the earth, and this is one of the tasks of this historic group, is to prepare the world for the externalization of the hierarchy, for the third stage of initiation, where everybody is on board with this, controlled and a directed personality to accept this dream. They're totally activated. Intelligence wants this. They can't buy, sell, or eat unless they have this mark. They have to coalesce with this, what the esoteric eccentrics want. That's what they're saying. And Alice Bailey goes on, it might be service to you if I outline a little more clearly that the purpose of the new seed groups in terms of the New Age civilization and culture, so that the practical results might be visioned with clarity and some new ideals emerge as to the quality of the coming new order of the age. Okay? End quote. Note, she stated, the method of communication between members of the hierarchy has to be externalized eventually upon the earth, and this is one of the main tasks of the group. And that is what is astounding to people. They just can't see, nor can they understand what all this is about. What is this historicism? What are they trying to bring upon the earth? What is this externalization of the hierarchy? They want the hierarchy to come on the earth in order to reach that third stage of initiation where everybody walks lockstep with their ideology. If you don't, they're going to crush you. They're going to housebreak you. How dare you question their new morality? How dare you? They're all about freedom and liberation, and love is love. But if you dare question or bring in any common sense reality that their programs and things never worked in the past, they don't want to hear it. They'll shut you down, and they'll do anything to maintain their power and control over people. They would stop at nothing at all. So let's go back and look at this again. And we'll go to the next page so you can see what she's talking about here. Alice Bailey, Externalization of the Hierarchy, page 281, says when the hierarchy is going to be externalized. Thus, the great new movement is proceeding, and tremendously increased interplay and interactions taking place will go on until AD 2025. That's just really close by, isn't it? I mean, that is so close to happening. We're just months away from the year 2025. We follow the Hebraic calendar, the Essenes calendar or lunar calendar. That's September. Okay, for us it begins in January, but this is coming. And you're going to see these things happening, exactly what she's saying here, okay? What she's saying says, during the years intervening between now and then, very great changes will be seen taking place. In 2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy. The hierarchy to implement all 7 stages of initiation upon the masses to create a new order for the age. A new way to live, a new utopian world vision of group control, group conformity, group love will finally realize where everybody will get along and sing Kumbaya. They are on a holy crusade to bring this about. Will be externalized. Let's keep looking. In the present cycle, from now until that date, is called technically the stage of the forerunner. It is preparatory in nature, testing in its methods, and intended to be revelatory in its techniques and result. In other words, initiating you. In the adjustment necessitated by the rapidly advancing alignment, the members of the hierarchy are fitting themselves for the objective work of public expression. And I wrote down here in this, I colored these so you can understand what I'm saying. In her writings, the purpose of these groups is total takeover the media, radio, TV, entertainment, the sciences, education, military, political, industrial, business, commerce, financial, educational fields, as she illustrated in, to re-educate humanity on right human relationships. And so what they're talking about here, and I wrote it down here for you guys on below here, I just wrote it. I want you to look at it really, really hard and heavy here. And I'm going to read this. Alice Bailey's Treaties on White Magic, page 113 of the PDF. The first group works through governments, through politics, and the interplay between nations is steadily small in number. This is going to be going on for some time, folks, and it's preparatory in nature. So from, maybe 100, 200 years ago, they've been working at this slowly, and finally in the 30 to 40, 50, 60 years before this, it's going to intensify. So in the 20 years before 2025, it's going to go start getting hot. Within the last 10 years of this, say around 2012 to currently, it's going to exponentially increase. And what it involves is this. The first group works through governments, through politics, through the interplay of nations and relatively small in number to bring out this plan by taking over everything. The first ray is called the will or power. And many great world rulers are founded on this ray of initiation under the sway of Lucifer. The first ray of initiation is the solar ray, which comes under the control of Lucifer, who takes over the will to achieve power and hold on to it at all cost. Will be initiated into, as Victor Davis Hanson said, the esoteric, left-wing, elite, eccentric bunch who are governing us. They're looking for people who want to control, okay? The second ray group are those who delude and deceive, work through religious agencies, through mass psychology and misuse and misapplication, devotion of the arts. They are the largest in number. Okay, so you have a small group of politicians and those in power who are going, and the next group are your teachers and people who are going to be educators. They're in the cultural mountains of influence on radio, TV, arts, entertainment, movies, so forth, etc. They are in military. They're in government agencies. They're the lower ranks. They are in schools, educators. They are all over the place to train you how to live a new esoteric perfect world way, or it's the highway. The second ray of love wisdom involves the Christ or Buddha are to be found in this ray. That's what she says. It is the great teaching ray under the sway of Master Jesus, who we call the Antichrist, who promises peace, safety, and security for the public good. And they're going to come as redeeming saviors into the world. This matches, if you know anything about the Daniel statue, it's there too. Some people go, oh, you're crazy. No, Daniel statue, the golden-headed dream of world domination run by great rulers under this Satan and Lucifer. Then you have the second ray, the silver, the Persian Empire, who set at liberty people to go back to their lands, which is a good thing, as a matter of fact. But however, it's unity through diversity. This is where that comes through. And they are going to educate people on right human relationships, okay? Think of it that way. They delude and deceive and work through religious agencies in order to take over all the world's religions and bring them in together. They're going after the church big time. And so their philosophies and doctrines are going to be seen in there, and the occult works are going to be brought forth into church to flip people to accept this Antichrist figure in the future. They're not going to fool the church. They're not going to defeat the church, because the gates of hell will not prevail against the true church of God who stays strong in Christ. So they exercise the love for power and the wisdom how to exercise it. So the third group works primarily through commercial relationships in the business world and through the use of money, the concentration of the prana, or universal energy, in the outer symbol of the universal flux and flow. They're going to be loosey-goosey in this. You're going to stick their finger in the air and see where public opinion is. Then they're going to find out what that is, co-opt it into their direction. Okay, this involves the third ray of initiation, which is the ray of active intelligence. It's to sway public opinion. It's the mass of intelligent humanity is being formed by the rest of the fallen realm. In other words, they're going to, like I said last week, they're going to overshadow people and bring them into this esoteric mindset. They come as a false Holy Spirit in Christian circles. They come as a false salvation spirit in all humanity. There's no hell, only blue skies. and we can control the world. It's to save the polar bears, to keep them cold at night. We gotta destroy nations' ability to produce energy, so everybody will be equally poor. So you only have the haves and have-nots. You're a have-not, and we can control you and dominate you for your good. It's all about a controlled, directed personality. Do as we say, not as we do. They can fly in their polluting jets into Davos every year. They can do these things, but not you. You can't fly anywhere. Okay? It's active intelligence. They want to activate your intelligence to be in league with the plan. The real goal is activating a new intelligence in man through these 3 rays of initiation. And so I want to go to the next page here. Alice Bailey, Education and the New Age. It's on page 122 of the hardback edition. She writes, in the coming world state, the individual citizen gladly and deliberately, with full consciousness of all that he is doing, will subordinate his personality to the good of the whole. You got to note, that's part of the plan, is to housebreak humanity away from God and his influence in order design to destroy your belief in objective morality and objective truth. They want to destroy objective morality and objective truth. And that is the primary reality of what these folks really want to do. They want to destroy objective reality and base it on subjectivism. And the esoteric world, and you can read in their literature, it's all about subjective truth. Your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. Where do you think that's coming from? These people are gaslighting people that they're not under the influence of anything, not just so they don't scare you, but they're talking about your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth, and my truth is superior to your truth, so shut up. Obey, sir. That's the basic mentality. They want to destroy God's order and design, and that is what it's about. That's what we're seeing here. So that's part of the plan, is to housebreak humanity away from God and his morality, everything like that. Alice Bailey, in Externalization of Hierarchy, page 105, hardback edition, she wrote, in 1939, before World War II, the men who inspired initiating the French Revolution, the great conqueror, Napoleon Bismarck, creator of nation Mussolini, regenerator of his people Hitler, who lifted a distressed people upon his shoulders, Lenin the idealist, Stalin and Franco, were great and outstanding personalities who were particularly sensitive to the will to power and the will to change their reality. That is an incredible thing to say, folks. She's glorifying tyrants. That's who they're looking for. A will to achieve power. She's glorifying it. Then afterwards, an externalization of the hierarchy, she later writes, after the war, World War II is over, she retracts her statement about Hitler and Mussolini and all these people, saying that they were involved in materialism and so they had to go. We're talking about a pure fascism, a pure communism that's destined to rule the world. And this is what the eccentric, left-winging, esoteric, eccentric elite want. Okay, let's look. Alice Bailey in Externalization of Hierarchy. She continues. The first ray is of will to power. Many great world leaders are found in this ray. That's my note there. And look at Alice Bailey, Destiny as a Nation, 1949, right around the time she died, page 11 and 12, and page 95. I think this is the PDF. I think it's PDF. And I quote, govern the people throughout the world and will embody in itself the best elements of the monarchical, democratic, and totalitarian and communistic regimes. Most of these groups of ideologies have talent in them and much beauty, strength, and wisdom, and also profound and valuable contribution to make the whole. Each will eventually see its contribution embodied under the control of the hierarchy of the lords of compassion and masters of wisdom. So you have a new spiritual communism. And it's all about redistributing wealth, yours, not theirs, yours. And you have to give up for your identity as a nation. You got to destroy your heritage as a people in order to create this new collectivist world. You have to have this creative, active intelligence to agree that these systems of central planning are the most productive known to man, the only thing that can work, even though throughout history, from the days of the fallen watchers in Genesis 6 to Nimrod, to the kings and emperors from ancient times to modern times, all central planning has failed. because you have an oligarchy group of people who control the narrative, and all the while working in cohesion with a governmental power, with a governmental leader, to exploit the masses and bring them so they can control them. That was the idea of central planning. And so the left has this idea that they can change the meaning of language. And so Alice Bailey and esotericism will flip language on you. They'll say nationalism. The nationalism of old mustache man in Germany, they ruined the idea of pure fascism. So that's nationalism. No, old Adolf was a central planner. So Marx, Lenin, Pol Pot, the whole rest of them, Mao, the current dude in China, uh, Rocket Man, and over there, that's central planning. The liberal wing of your parties, whatever they are in your country, are central planning. So what they're saying is that they're conflating nationalism with central planning, which they are planning and they want. But they don't mean it that way. They mean nationalist. If you love your country, if it wasn't for patriotism, we wouldn't have World War II. No, it was central planning from a guy who wanted to control the world. World War II, Japanese as well, empire. These were very racist ideologies. There would be a new race of super Uberman to rule the world. Esotericism is no different. They want to create a new race out of all races, an uber super being, a new spiritual man who walks lock and step with the oligarchy and the Antichrist and create this perfect new spirit dimension world. And so that is what they're gunning for. They don't want to tell you this outright, but that's what they're doing. So they want to demonize you as a nationalist, meaning you are a bad fascist. Nationalism has nothing to do with fascism. It has to do with having a common sense approach to government, representative government. Okay, that's nationalism, where you respect each other's borders. You don't open them up and let the floodgates in. You have laws and things. You base it on morality and truth and objective reality. Objective reality, objective truth, morals, standards, borders are anathema to these people, because it's to order to be liberated, be free, you got to rip open your borders, let all these people in, and they can vote and you can't. And so all this stuff happens for their consolidation of power. That's what basically that's what it's about. And we go down here. So they need that. Alice Bailey, Destinations of Nations. To govern the people throughout the world will embody itself in the best elements of the monarchical, democratic, totalitarian, and communistic regimes. Wow. Most of these groups' ideologies have latent in them much beauty, strength, and wisdom. Beauty, strength, and wisdom. Guess what, folks? What that is? That's the second ray of initiation. So they're going to sell this as a snow job. Great love and wisdom and compassion are in these moves, and we can have a loving understanding and loving group relationships where you have to surrender your identity as a person, as a group, as a nation, to the good of the whole. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So you have to sacrifice in order to show group love and conform. So we can control. We want to control your personality. And you're going to have that. They use words love as love, so forth. They're doing it for the better humanity. We're going to protect you from misinformation and disinformation for your own good, for the public good, for the public good. We want to promote your security. We want to make you feel secure. We want to make you for your safety from other people, from misinformation. So we got to control everything for your enjoyment, so you can enjoy life. As Noah Harari says, there are in their new world that they envision. Noah Harari stated this, and it's online. You can see it. Is that there are going to be a lot of useless people in this world, and what do you do with them? You put them in little 15-minute cities, plug them into the internet and give them drugs and a metaverse glasses, and that's it. And that's your perfect world. Just think of the in reservation system here in the United States for the First Nations people. They stripped them of their identity, they ripped them of their culture, and they put them in a lot bigger than a 15-minute city, but the concept's the same. They're going to house break you. It's a terrible system. I've seen it, and I know how these people work. They like to throw in, they want to scapegoat people, so they threw in a bunch of Christian missionaries in there that most of them weren't any good, and then they got hurt and massacred or whatever. Settlers were moved in, they got massacred. That justified them taking their land. You'll see this all throughout history. Doesn't matter what nation, First Nations people did the same thing to each other. Just look up Massacre Canyon, look it up online, read about it. And you'll find ample evidence. No, all people, all nations are guilty of this. All nations have blood on their hand on this. And so, but they want, these esotericists are going to make a kinder, gentler world by controlling you like they did the First Nations people. The industrialists and robber barons of their age opened up the floodgates and destroyed. Instead of doing things right, they did everything wrong in order to control, strip resources and everything under the guise of spreading religion. And now, in the esoteric world, is spreading a new one world religion in order to make things right. And they have their new age groupies inside of churches teaching new doctrines for this purpose, to housebreak the church as well. Let's continue this. We'll get on a roll here in a minute. Let's go to the next page. Alice Bailey, Disciple in New Age, Volume 2, page 135-36. And I broke this down. It says, in my last series of instructions, I gave a group meditation which based upon the furthering of the work of the new group of world servers as they sought to prepare humanity for the reappearance of Christ. That preparatory work is the major incentive lying back of all that I do, and that's the prime reason for the formation of the group in the early part of the century. Pioneers of this group appeared in the 19th century, but the organization as it now exists is relatively of modern days. Send pioneers in. Interesting. In this instruction, we will consider the relationship of group meditation to the work of the new group of world servers and necessity of establishing a united world group given to unanimous simultaneous meditation upon the work preparing the world for the new order, for the jurisdiction of the Christ, if I may use such a phrase. That's the Antichrist. It is necessary for you to get a wider vision of the enterprise which this group has undertaking, or else the meditative work which you do will hinder and not help. The task of the group of world servers is not the spreading of esoteric and occult information. I want to stop there and look at what she means by that. She means esoteric means secret. Keep it under wraps. Don't tell them outright what you're doing. Come in there with group love, group conscience. We're here to save the planet. We're all about you. We want the perverse and profane to burn down the cities and the streets to get their way, because you are the oppressor. You must give up your rights because you oppressed them, and somehow, which you unknowingly you never did, but somehow you did. So you have to pay them back. And so don't tell them what we're doing. That's what she's saying. Let's go back and look at this. And so it is necessary for you all to get a wider vision enterprise, which group is undertaking, or the meditation work. What does she mean by meditation work? The meditation work is connecting with the hierarchy to get your marching orders. That's what she's teaching them to do, these higher upper elites. But don't tell them you're doing esoteric work. But they are. In the writing, you'll see that it is spreading esoteric and occult information. It is about that, but don't tell them. That's what she's saying. In preparing the world of men for the reappearance of Christ. Don't tell them you're bringing the Antichrist back. Whoa, don't tell them what your actual goal is. The needs of the many grades of the social order must be met first, okay? World groups of every description have to be contacted. Much of the work is to be done, therefore, will be purely economic and will concern the right feeding and development of true security. It's that word security, safety, public good stuff is all used in these esoteric writings. And Jesus warned us, when you hear them say peace and safety, your peace and security, for your security, for your safety, you got to protect you from misinformation. The end is just knocking on the door, okay? Be purely economic will concern the right feeding and development of a true security for millions who, for many lives, will not be interested in matters esoteric. No, you know what, Sherlock. You know what, Sherlock. Yeah. We don't want it. And no, we don't want to live as a directed and controlled personality, a robot in a 15-minute city where we don't have any rights or freedoms and we're tagged and we're just merely playthings for the world's elites to play with us. No, we don't want that. We want our country back. We want our civilization back. We want our heritage back. There's nothing wrong with our heritage. Yeah, every heritage and every nation has dirt in it, but through the work of Christ and through the Judaic-Christian principles and Western philosophies, we correct those wrongs in a natural, common sense way. We respect nations' borders, not tear them down to destroy people's identity as a people. We don't do that. That's evil. Okay, but that's what we say. They say no to that. No to that. Look at this. It's all about reform work. Number 3. Reform of the churches of the many world religions is another aspect of the same work, requiring no occult information, but the introduction of common sense and progressive ideas into their theology. Go to a church in Atlanta there, and the very big church, and progressive ideas into theology. Look how many churches doing that. And the shift, here's that word, shift. We're going to shift of the ecclesiastical emphasis from material values into spiritual. In other words, you're going to get more mystical. And we're going to get rid of material doctrines like salvation by grace through faith in Jesus Christ alone. No, you don't need that. Everybody can enter, everybody can enter heaven, all this stuff. We're shifting values to the super spiritual. We are spiritual people, and you are religious materialist. You are a reactionary person. You have no rights. You either convert or you won't buy, sell, or eat, basically. The political regimes of the world need orienting to each other. It has never been divine planned that all nations and races could conform to some standard political ideology or be reintroduced into a uniform general form of government. Laugh, laugh, laugh. I'm laughing. Nations differ. They have different cultures and traditions. They can function adequately under the various distinctive governments. Nevertheless, they can at the same time attain unity of purpose based upon genuine desire for true welfare and progress for all men everywhere. This sounds like Justin Trudeau. We're not about changing culture. Nothing. No. And, this actually presents a logical contradiction, saying that the esoteric of governing the world honors cultures, traditions, and forms of distinctive governments. And so I asked that question down there below here. How so? Let's look. It's interesting to note that these three centers ever come into true functioning activity. The three major ideologies, the totalitarian, the democratic, socialist, the communistic, may be the response, distorted and yet responsive to the forces playing from the two higher centers onto the human, as we discussed earlier in Destiny of the Nations. The coming of the world state, the individual citizen, gladly and deliberately, with full consciousness of all that he's doing, will subordinate his personality to the good of the whole. No force, no conformity. We honor your culture, but in the coming world state, you individual citizen will gladly and deliberately, subordinate your personality to the good of the whole, or else you can't buy, sell, or eat. We are the good people. Yeah, right. Alice Bailey in Destinies of Nations on page 112 says, govern people throughout the world will embody in itself the best elements of the monarchical, the democratic, the totalitarian, and communistic regimes. I mean, democratic and socialist. Most of these group ideologies have latent talent in them, much beauty and strength and wisdom. They have culture, diversity. So profound and valuable contribution can be made to the whole. Each will eventually see the contribution embodied under the control of the hierarchy, the lords of compassion and the masters of wisdom. To the Lucifer, that's who you're talking about. Again, it sounds so Justin Trudeau. Well, nations differ. They have different cultures. We respect you. Yeah. And we can function adequately, and we have distinctive form of government. We're not about changing your governmental system. Oh, no. Let's gaslight you. Let's gaslight you because we're all about making the individual citizens a ward of the state, gladly and deliberately with full consciousness to subordinate his personality to the good of the whole. We like to govern people through the monarchical, democratic, totalitarian, communistic regimes, the central planning ways, because that's the only way that works. You really are respecting cultures? And that is a logical contradiction and dispels their whole ideology. So next time you hear Justin Trudeau or any of these people say all this stuff, anybody in the Biden regime talking about this stuff, or some young person wants to save the polar bears, just know that they pose themselves a logical contradiction. In Alice Bailey's Externalization of the Hierarchy, with I put in the theosophical word meanings in here. Alice Bailey writes, I have made this practical application immediate illustration of teaching Annette. Annette means about or concerning what is hidden and then revealed. A glamour. In theosophy, this word is used using deception that glamorizes what is acceptable and unacceptable, what is fashionable, what is cool, what's not, what's beauty, so forth, etc. And through illusion or trickery and magic and Maya, trick people in accepting an illusion which such as everything that exists is not an absolute reality. Rather, it is subjectivism that determines your reality. That's what she means. Because the whole world problem has reached a crisis today, because its clarification will be the outstanding theme of all progress, educational, religious, and economic until AD 2525. Oh, I'm laughing. Today, as humanity awaits the revelation which will embody the thoughts and dreams and constructive goal of the new age, the demand comes for the first time from a large group of intuitively inclined people. I said intuitive, my brothers. This group is now so large, its focus is now so real, and its demand is so loud that it is succeeding in focusing the masses intent of the people. Therefore, whatever revelation may emerge, the immediate future will be better protected by the spirit of understanding than any previous one. Wow. How in the world, what can you say to that?
And they always say, why are you doing this? You're doing it. You're voting for a party that is doing it. And then they say, yeah, but why are we doing it? And so this area's elite are getting more and more and more and more left-wing, esoteric, eccentric.
Externalization of the Hierarchy, page 281 PDF. Thus, a great new movement is proceeding, and tremendously increased interplay and interactions taking place. This will go on until AD 2025. During the years intervening between now and then, a very great changes will be seen taking place. Boy, have you seen any great changes taking place. Wokeness, compliance. You're evil for wanting to save your country. Heritage is evil, and you must surrender to the whole. Give us all your money so we can do this for your peace and safety. Have you seen any of this weird stuff lately? I don't know. Maybe you haven't. I'm just not trying to make a point here. In 2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy on this planet. Okay. The present cycle from now until that date is called technically the stage of the forerunner. It is preparatory in nature, testing in its methods, and intended to be revelatory in its techniques and results. In the adjustment necessitated for the rapidly advancing alignment, members of the hierarchy are fitting themselves for the object of public expression. This again has not been expected so early. In the adjustment necessitated by the rapidly advancing alignment, members of the hierarchy are fitting themselves for public expression. Isn't that amazing? I just tell you, that is totally amazing. I'm going to wrap this up here with this. Alice Bailey says in Externalization of Hierarchy in the 298, 299, more about the year 2025. The hierarchical determinations are concerned were postponed, but owing to the unexpected preparedness of humanity, can take place, if not prematurely, but securely in the fullness of time. The fullness of times is, as regards this particular planning which we are dealing, is from now until the year 2025, a brief period in time indeed. The purpose is threefold. It involves a great expansion of numerically and consciousness of the hierarchy. It predicates the great influx of initiates and disciples, and the tremendous inflow, what is esoterically called angelic essences from the angelic kingdom, under the direction of certain great fallen angels, devas, who have affiliated during the past 200 years with the hierarchy. Again, this has not been expected so early. Amazing, isn't it?
And they always say, why are you doing this? You're doing it. You're voting for a party that is doing it. And then they say, yeah, but why are we doing it? And so this area's elite are getting more and more and more and more left-wing, esoteric, eccentric.
Yeah. The rays of initiation. The first ray is the will to power. So you get a whole group of people who are power hungry. They're under the sway of the evil one, right? They present themselves under ray of the wisdom of love. They're doing it for your loving understanding and for group love, so forth, etc. And you have to give up everything for the, this is a great teaching ray. This is what teaches and inspires all the world's servers to use a thing called, what do you call it? It's an esoteric initiation. So you'll surrender your identity over to them to control. Okay. I'm going to go through here and understand this. You go to the third ray of active intelligence, where the devil takes captive everybody through all these entities, these divas, these angelic encounters, stuff like that, where the masses of intelligently people are found in this ray to be influenced by this. And this is all achieved by the next rays of called rays of attribute. This is the lunar ray. This is the divine feminine to create chaos. So you want to have the three rays of aspect of mercy, masculine, and compassion. They promise that they are the good guys, liberating the oppressed from you, the oppressor, and you have to surrender everything to the oppressed who want your children and so forth, etc. And you have to give them to them, things like that, because the kids are belong to the state. It's all about, as a lot of these people said, world government is inevitable, as one politician said many years ago, and they want your children. They want to control everything. I'm telling you. And so let's keep looking at this. They want to get all humanity on board that they need this, that active intelligence. Why? This is how they're going to do it. They're going to implement chaos, the rays of attribute, the divine feminine of chaos. How? The fourth ray is harmony through conflict, order out of chaos, where you struggle and you expose the reactionary people, and you get more workers of unity that will agree with you. When you come into this, they're fighting the system. They're defeating the religious. They're defeating the materialists. They're defeating capitalism. And join in, burn down the system. Then after you burn down your town, your infrastructure, and it's winter time and you're freezing to death, you can clap yourself on the back and you're starving in a famine that you were successful. But you can't see the consequences because you've been blinded by these ideas of group love, group content, and the good of the whole. The universal income will solve everything. Everybody will be equally lazy and poor. We don't need you. We got plenty of robots to do your work. We got AI to run things. You're useless people, as Noah Harari would say. And the ultimate goal is to control the pop and you and the elation. And re-deus it in so many ways. And so harmony through conflict, promote wars, whatever. Think hard and heavy. Okay. In the fifth ray of concrete knowledge or science, scientists and people who are purely mental and governed by their mind. This is the fifth ray. You use your head, creating conflict. Use your smarts about you. Use science. No, Mr. Science came along a while back who liked to, he had a beagle fetish, I heard, he wanted to do certain things. And, use science, you use intelligence, use reason, think things out, develop a concrete plan for this to initiate all humanity in this active intelligence of Luciferianism. The sixth ray is devotion or idealism. Many Christian people, fanatics, and numbers of earnest churchmen of all the world's religions. In other words, unite the world's religions in this sixth ray of devotion. Okay? Get as many Christian people involved in this. Get fanatics that are burning down the streets and burning down cities. Get them together on the plan. Get an earnest churchmen or people from all religions of the world to be in on this, to burn down the system. We're going to create a brave new world. The seventh ray of ceremonial order or magic. It's financiers, great business people, organizations of all kinds, executives are found in this with the energies in their equipment. So you have a group of great merchants of the earth practicing basic occultic rites, black magic as well as white magic techniques, which I'll talk about probably next time I do this on this series. I just wanted to kind of show you what in the world is going on in our world and why you see it. And this is incredible stuff, folks. And how do they initiate people? Well, I'm going to go back to this slide here and show you. This is how they initiate people. They initiate people in 7 stages called the root race stages. And this is the evolutionary development of humanity. The 7 race corresponds to the 7 root race ideology of H.P. Blavatsky and other people I wrote down here. The first root race is mindless humanity who needs awakening and involves the development of the human ego, the will to power, to achieve power. They want to develop your ego for the will to achieve power. So it's all about you. That's the first stage. Okay. The second root race stage is human beings develop a sense of touch in both the physical and spiritual world, gaining secret revelations about the need to be liberated and the need for a new world to come, a new age to come. Let's keep reading. The third root race stage in the third ray of initiation of humanity in this stage involves awakening people to the mind principle, reaching that higher universal mind, the need for a sense of light and illumination to be liberated from the material world. The fourth root race marks the period of the greatest development of the physical body, and speech and communication is focused and purification achieved by concentrated, rigorous focus to bring forth harmony and balance through conflict, to purge one from the material world in which one lives. This means change your word meanings of your words, change the meaning of reality, change the meaning of objective truth, change all those things. The fifth root race is race of modern humanity developing a sense of smell, aka known as discernment, increasing knowledge and discernment to achieve the plan of bringing the Antichrist back through concrete knowledge, science, intellect, through promoting of health and careful planning to enter its next level, the sixth root race stage. The sixth root race marks the ascending stage of humanity to work together, collectivism, to achieve paradise on earth. It involves rapid increase in occultic knowledge without people knowing it, technology, using occultism and technology and illumination that they need a savior, to bring all into unity with the universal mind or Christ consciousness, diffuse worldwide to develop devotion to idealism like Marxism, so forth, and increase fanaticism to their cause. Burn down your cities, see somebody who wants common sense approach to the government, they're the enemy, go beat them up. That's what it's talking about. You need that fanaticism. Bring all religions into one system. This stage is entered when you'll see a massive glamorizing androgyny becomes a new norm. Right now, we are entering into the sixth root race stage in their scheme of things. So you'll see a mass push for androgyny as a new norm, because H.P. Blavatsky would say androgyny is next to God. To be androgynous is to be God. Noah Harari once Homo Deus, humans are divine. Esotericism talks about humans are godlike beings. They may not be the big God, but they're little gods in God class. That's what they teach. That has infested certain Christian circles as well. The seventh root race cycle is a time when enlightened leaders influence the greatest flood of human disciples ever seen to come under the great governance of one of the top seven watchers, who decree the karmatic justice for all, by the use of rituals, occultic magic, and arts to blind people to it, and to create a ceremonial order that comes from the world of great financiers, business people, and organizers of all kinds. There is a reason why in Revelation chapter 18, the great men of the earth are going to lament the destruction of the Babylonian system that made them rich. There's a reason why. The great prostitute of Babylon sits on 7 mountains. But these 7 spheres of influence are all about developing, they follow the root races. They want to develop your ego for the will to achieve power. Basically, it's all about you. The 7 spheres of influence are about improving yourself, improving your health, improving your mind, improving anything. That seduces humanity without them knowing they're getting into occultism, because all these words of health, wealth, prosperity, so forth, making a better world, that the 7 spheres of influence, which are the same thing as the rays of initiation, as the root race stages are, to gaslight people, and they don't see what you're interpreting those by are not what they mean. And so you come under control and you destroy the system, and you wake up in a famine. You wake up one day and you're going, I burned down the system and I've expected this would be a collective utopia, and I'm starving to death. What's going on? You've been gaslighted. Been gaslighted by people who have a very wicked plan.
This area's elite are getting more and more left-wing, esoteric, eccentric